Thank you for joining us on this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's explore the headlines that are shaping the current news landscape. Unified Payments Interface has been launched at the iconic Eiffel Tower in France. The eminent physicist Satyendra Bose is remembered on his 50th death anniversary. WHO's Cancer Agency, International Agency for Research on Cancer, has released latest estimates of global burden of cancer. 7th session of the Codex Committee on Spices and Culinary Herbs held at Kochi. Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways has launched 2 digital modules within Sagar Setu platform. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India has rationalized regulatory framework for insolvency professional entities. Starting with the first news. Unified Payments Interface has been launched at the iconic Eiffel Tower in France. NPCI International Payments Limited, in partnership with Lyra, a French leader in securing e-commerce and proximity payments, announced acceptance of UPI payment mechanism in France. France became the first European country to accept UPI. Unified Payments Interface, launched by National Payments Corporation of India in 2016, is an instant payment system which acts as an interface to facilitate interbank transfers. UPI is an integral part of the payments layer of India stack. If we talk about India Stack, then it is a set of open APIs or application program interface and digital public goods that aim to unlock economic primitives of identity, data and payments at population scale. India Stack consists of 3 layers, which are identity, payments and data. APIs are a set of defined rules that enable different applications to communicate with each other. India has been making efforts at internationalization of India Stack to foster collaboration in digital public infrastructure. Now let's have a look at the significance of internationalization of India Stack. It will foster global market expansion for Indian startups and tech firms. Also, interoperability and standardization will be enhanced at global scale. Moreover, innovation and collaboration will lead to creation of new solutions and services. Lastly, it will help in driving India's soft power and digital diplomacy, particularly in the global south. If we talk about efforts taken at internationalization of India Stack, then these include NIPL, a wholly owned subsidiary of NPCI, incorporated in 2020 for deployment of RuPay or UPI outside of India. Acceptance of UPI payments in overseas markets such as Singapore and UAE. Also, a memorandum of understanding being signed on sharing of India Stack with Armenia, Sierra Leone, Suriname, and Antigua and Barbuda. India also took some initiatives under G20. These are Global Digital Public Infrastructure Repository and Social Impact Fund to advance DPI in the Global South.
The eminent physicist Satyendra Bose is remembered on his 50th death anniversary. S.N. Bose, along with Meghnad Saha, established modern theoretical physics in India. Now, let us discuss about some of his important contributions in the field of science. S.N. Bose made significant advances in statistical mechanics and quantum statistics. He deduced Planck's black-body radiation law without any reference to classical electrodynamics. The black-body radiation law refers to the spectrum of radiations emitted by any hot object. Bose's work, titled Planck's Law and Light Quantum Hypothesis, was translated into German by Einstein and published in Zeitschrift für Physik. This publication further led to emergence of quantum statistics. Einstein also applied Bose's method to give theory of ideal quantum gas and predicted phenomenon of Bose-Einstein condensation. The Bose-Einstein condensation is a state of matter in which separate atoms or subatomic particles cool to near absolute zero, that is 0 Kelvin or minus 273.15 degrees Celsius, coalesce into a single quantum mechanical entity. The single quantum entity can be described by a wave function on a near macroscopic scale. Further, talking about the significance of Bose's contribution in the world of physics. It laid the groundwork for contemporary understanding of standard model of physics. Also, it played a significant role in fostering scientific collaboration and exchange of ideas between Indian and Western scientists. For his important contribution in the field of physics, Satyendra Bose received various awards and recognitions. He was awarded Padma Vibhushan in 1954. Also, bosons, the fundamental particles with integer spin, are named after him. Rabindranath Tagore dedicated his only book on science, Vishwa Parichay, to S.N. Bose. He also became Vice Chancellor of the Vishwa Bharati during 1956 to 58.
Moving on to the next news. WHO's Cancer Agency, International Agency for Research on Cancer, has released latest estimates of global burden of cancer. At global level, in 2022, there were an estimated 20 million new cancer cases and over 9 million deaths. Global cancer cases may rise 77% by 2050 and death may rise by 50%. About 1 in 5 people develop cancer in their lifetime. Approximately 1 in 9 men and 1 in 12 women die from this disease. If we talk about the Indian scenario, then India reported over 14 lakh new cancer cases and about 9 lakh deaths in 2022. Cancer cases in women marginally outnumbered those in men. Breast, lip and oral cavity, cervix, uteri and lung are top 4 leading cancers. Now let's discuss and understand about cancer. Every year, World Cancer Day is commemorated on 4th February. Cancer is caused by an uncontrolled and abnormal growth of cells in the body that causes lump or tumor in most cases. If left untreated, tumors can grow and spread to other body parts and affect all body functions. If we have a look at the measures taken by India to address rising cases of cancer, then these include diagnosis and treatment under Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers, India's first indigenously developed vaccine, Sarvavac, for prevention of cervical cancer. Also, the National Pharmaceuticals Pricing Authority put out a list of 390 anti-cancer non-scheduled medicines with MRP reduction up to 87% in 2019. In recent breakthroughs in the fight against cancer, scientists have made significant strides. One notable discovery involves identifying a crucial epitope on the CD95 receptor, triggering cell death and providing a potential kill switch for cancer cells. In 2018, the Nobel Prize in Medicine recognized the groundbreaking work on cancer therapy through the inhibition of negative immune regulation. Another promising development is CAR T-cell therapy, where immune cells called T cells are extracted from cancer patients, genetically altered and then reintroduced to enhance the body's ability to combat cancer. These advancements mark important steps forward in the ongoing battle against this complex and challenging disease.
Moving on to the next news. 7th session of the Codex Committee on Spices and Culinary Herbs held at Kochi. In this session, quality standards for 5 spices, namely small cardamom, turmeric, juniper berry, allspice and star anise were finalized. The Codex Committee on Spices and Culinary Herbs or CCSCH has forwarded these 5 standards to Codex Alimentarius Commission, recommending for adoption as a full-fledged Codex standards. Also, for the first time ever in CCSCH, strategy of grouping of spices was successfully implemented. Now let us further discuss about the Codex Committee on Spices and Culinary Herbs. The CCSCH was established as one of the commodity committees under Codex Alimentarius Commission in 2013. India has been hosting the CCSCH since the beginning and Spices Board of India under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, which serves as a secretariat organization. The terms of reference for the session was to elaborate worldwide standards for spices and culinary herbs in their dried and dehydrated state. Additionally, consult with the international organization in the standards development process to avoid duplication. Now let us talk about the Codex standards. These are the international food texts, that is standards, codes of practice, codes of hygienic practice, guidelines and other recommendations. The Codex texts are voluntary in nature and do not have any binding effect on national food legislation. Further, talking about the relation between Codex and the World Trade Organization. The WTO agreements on sanitary and phytosanitary measures and on technical barriers to trade encourage WTO members to harmonize national regulations with international standards. Lastly, let us discuss in detail about the Codex Alimentarius Commission or CAC. Headquartered in Rome, it is an international food standards body established jointly by Food and Agriculture Organization and WHO in 1963. Its objective is to protect consumers' health and ensuring fair practices in the food trade. For this, CAC conducts its work through various Codex committees including CCSCH hosted by different member countries. The Codex Alimentarius Commission comprised of 189 Codex members including India since 1964.
In our next news, Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways has launched 2 digital modules within Sagar Setu platform. Let us start by first discussing about 2 digital modules. First is the Maritime Single Window or MSW module. It is a digital platform designed to facilitate electronic exchange of maritime-related information between stakeholders involved in international maritime trade. It will reduce waiting time for vessels and goods in ports by up to 40%. Second is the Mercantile Marine Department or MMD module. It will benefit by providing greater transparency and planning of vessel departure and maritime operations and reduce the time taken by up to 30%. Now let's talk about National Logistics Portal or NLP Marine. It is a national maritime single window platform with an end-to-end logistics solutions. Sagar Setu mobile app, an extension of NLP Marine launched in 2023, offers real-time information on vessels, container freight stations, and transactions. Further now, let's discuss some challenges faced by maritime logistics in India. One major concern is port congestion, with average turnaround time improved from 107.29 hours in 2011-12 to 55.99 hours during 2020-21. However, it is still higher than countries like Japan and China. Security threats are another serious concern because of piracy in Arabian Sea and the precarious geopolitical situation around the Red Sea in recent times. The Indian fleet is just 1.2% of the world's fleet in terms of capacity and carries only 7.8% in 2018-19 of India's EXIM trade, indicating poor fleet strength. If we talk about key initiatives taken by government, then these include Sagar Mala program, which visions to reduce logistics cost for EXIM and domestic trade with minimal infrastructure investment. Maritime India Vision 2030, which aims to develop world-class megaports, transshipment hubs, and infrastructure modernization. Maritime Amritkal Vision 2047, which encompasses aspirations in logistics, infrastructure, and shipping, supporting India's blue economy. And at last, Sagar Manthan, which is a digital platform containing comprehensive data related to Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, and all its organization.
Moving on to the next news. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India rationalizes regulatory framework for insolvency professional entities. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India or IBBI has notified amendments to the insolvency resolution process and bankruptcy process for personal guarantors to corporate debtors. First, let us have a look at the key highlights of the amendments. The amendment allows appointment of same insolvency professional in corporate process as well as insolvency and bankruptcy proceeding of the personal guarantors to corporate debtors. Insolvency professional or IP is an individual registered with IBBI who act as intermediary in the insolvency and bankruptcy processes. It makes convening of meetings of creditors mandatory. IBBI also issued clarifications on regulatory framework for IPs and insolvency professional entities IPEs, which includes limit on number of assignments for IPs does not apply to an IP which is an IPE. Insolvency professional entity, that is IPE, can be a company, limited liability partnership, registered partnership firm which are allowed to carry on activities of an IP. Also, the fee structure for IPEs acting as IPs should be market determined. Now, let us further discuss about its significance. The functioning of the IPEs will be efficient by removing ambiguities in its roles and responsibilities. Also, the harmonization and coordination between insolvency and bankruptcy processes will be better. Lastly, it helps in reinforcing a robust and equitable framework for addressing financial distress in PG cases. Now let us understand what is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. It is a statutory body under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. It regulates both insolvency profession as well as processes. It performs a regulatory oversight over IPs, insolvency professional agencies, IPEs, and information utilities. It comprises of one chairperson, 3 ex officio members of central government, 1 ex officio member of RBI, and 5 other members, at least 3 full-time, nominated by Centre. The place in news for today is Argentina with its capital Buenos Aires. It is in news as Argentina's lower house of Congress has approved omnibus reform bill to transform its economy and the state. Talking about its political features, it is located in South America and shares its boundaries with Chile in south and west, Bolivia and Paraguay in north, and Brazil, Uruguay in east. Talking about its geographical features, it is geographically divided into 4 major regions: Andes, North, Pampas and Patagonia, with Pampas as the agricultural heartland. It is bounded to the east by the Atlantic Ocean. Its major rivers are Parana, Paraguay, Uruguay, Iguazu and Salado. Its highest peak is Cerro Aconcagua.
As we conclude today's main news, let's take a look at some quick updates. Recently, Delhi High Court held that CBI is not completely exempted from disclosing information under RTI as per Section 24 of RTI Act. Section 24 of RTI Act provides immunity from the Act to intelligence and security organizations specified in second schedule of the Act. However, information pertaining to the allegations of corruption and human rights violations need to be disclosed by such agencies. INS Sandhyak first survey vessel large ship commissioned into the Indian Navy in Visakhapatnam. INS Sandhyak is the first in a series of 4 SVL ships equipped with state-of-the-art hydrographic equipment including deep and shallow water multi-beam eco-sounders and autonomous underwater vehicle. It can offer limited defense capabilities and serve as a hospital ship during wartime or emergencies. It has an indigenous content of over 80% by cost. California has been hit by 2 back-to-back atmospheric river storms. Atmospheric rivers indicate narrow, elongated corridors of concentrated moisture transport associated with extratropical cyclones. Typically located within low-level jet, an area of strong winds in lower levels of the atmosphere ahead of a cold front in an extratropical cyclone. These are largest transport mechanisms of fresh water on Earth. There are more than 700 one-stop centers set up across India. One-stop centers fall under Sambal sub-scheme of Mission Shakti initiated by Ministry of Women and Child Development. The one-stop centers has been implemented since 2015. They offer services like medical assistance, assistance to women in lodging FIR, and legal aid and counseling. Scientists believe that it is possible to extract matter and energy from the ergosphere within the event horizon. Ergosphere is the region between event horizon and stationary limit of a rotating black hole. Stationary limit is the surface around the outside of a rotating black hole. If we talk about event horizon, then it is a notional boundary around a black hole beyond which no radiation can escape. TOI 715b is a super-Earth exoplanet discovered by NASA, which is about 137 light-years away from Earth. It revolves around its parent star in the conservative habitable zone. Super-Earth is a reference only to an exoplanet's size, larger than Earth and smaller than Neptune, but not suggesting they are necessarily similar to Earth. NASA completed the first phase of its plans to put a nuclear fission reactor on the Moon. The project is focused on developing concept designs for a small electricity generating nuclear fission reactor that could be used during a future demonstration on the Moon and to inform future designs for Mars. PM laid foundation stone for Ma Kamakhya Access Corridor under the PM's Development Initiative for North-Eastern Region or PM Divine Scheme. Kamakhya Temple, situated on Nilachal Hills in Guwahati, Assam, is one of the 51 Shakti Peeths. It is an important pilgrimage center for Tantric worshippers. The present temple was rebuilt in 1565 CE by Chilarai. Its architecture is a combination of Nagara style and Saracenic style. Before we go, it's time to put your knowledge to test in today's segment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you have enjoyed this edition of News Today. To get the answers to today's quiz and to download the PDF of News Today, make sure to check out the links in the description below.